Welcome to the Path to Purpose interview show, where we share our unique and universal stories about finding and fulfilling our purpose. My name is Katja, and I'm your host and mentor for Lightworkers. My intention for this show is to inspire you on your path to purpose. Today, I have a pleasure to interview Juan Miolan, who is a life energy coach and the creator of the Energized Life Blueprint, which guides parent entrepreneurs to get out of the exhaustion cycle while unlocking more energy and health in 4 simple steps, regardless of how hectic their schedule is. That sounds super good. I want to know more. So let's find out more about Juan's path. And I will also ask his best tips, how we can get that energy boost. So let's get started here. Welcome, Juan. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Katja. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really honored for this, and looking forward to speaking more about.
Wonderful. So could you tell us a little bit more about you and also share where you are from so we can put you on the map?
Putting me on the map. I'm hailing from New York in the United States, and upstate New York in the United States, and a little bit about my story and my evolution. It wasn't like boulder dropped on me one instant and it was like, all right, this is what I'm doing. It was more of an evolution. And starting from young, I'll start from childhood. And it was my mother struggling with depression. So right there, it gave me a very intimate exposure to, hey, if we don't take care of our mind and our body and what we need to deal with, some things are going to happen that we're not going to like. And no matter how much you love the people around you, whether it's kids, whether it's partners, whatever it might be, when you don't take care of you, when it's your root system, you are the root system for everything in your world, that you nourish everything in your world, everything, you can't do anything for anyone. Yeah. So from a young age, I knew that I needed to take care of this. I didn't exactly know all the steps and the scientific explanation for everything, but I knew that, hey, if something didn't feel right, and if I was in a relationship that was just didn't vibe, or if I was in a job that really didn't vibe well, it was always like, okay, I need to get out of here, or I need to do something different, because man, I know what that looks like. And there was some scary situations where as a young kid with my mother relapsing many times with that. And then evolving from there, we're not even going to go into the abandonment issues and psychological issues with that, but going through insomnia, going through exhaustion, going into the workforce as a young adult, and going into that workaholic, go, have all these accreditations and, be at top of your field and do this and do that, and feeling exhausted and being good and healthy and it not feeling fulfilled, Mm-hmm. And that was a problem. It was a real problem. I remember falling asleep during a late dinner in the middle of, taking a bite, and I would fall asleep just right there. I would just like pass out. And then I'll wake back up and finish that same bite. I'm like, okay, this shouldn't be happening. All right, this is not normal. I shouldn't be passing out. And yeah, it was nuts. So, that started off the journey, along with, my time in the fitness field and seeing, the body, the nutrition, and putting it all together with that. But seeing that people need more than just exercise and food, right? That's mm-hmm. Those things are important, but there's so much to us. We have so many different dimensions that are not being catered to. And through my pains and struggles, I put some things together and really like, okay, this how I look at the human condition, how we're all such complex individual, but when you get to the founding principles, here's what I see going on. When we align these things, we start living fulfilled. We start living with higher energy because we're in alignment. And that's how the Energized Life Blueprint came about.
I love that. And thank you for sharing your own journey to discovering this, because sometimes we are going through things in life, and then what I love about you, you had the calling then to help others. Like, okay, I figured out things for me, and then now I want to share it. So when we connected, I was like, I want to interview you here because I feel like you have such a beautiful message and you have such a calling to help others on their journey, that they don't need to go to that deep level of exhaustion, because so many now are there. So when you had like this journey, was there a moment, was that the moment on that dinner table that made you like, hey, I get to find a solution? Or was there another moment when you were like, okay, I need to change something here, this can't go on?
Yeah, there were a lot of different moments there. I don't know if that's a good thing that there was a lot of different moments, or was I like hard-headed and didn't really figure it out. But that time where I was exhausted, it was me doing a whole bunch of things, right? I was training here, I was coaching here, doing like 3 jobs. And when I look back at it and understanding the connection with our beliefs and how we operate in the world, hey, that's what I've known, right? I'm first generation born here. My mother immigrated from Dominican Republic. So her working 2-3 jobs was the norm. Me seeing that was the norm, right? And it's, even though we're vastly different, it's like that, it's just ingrained in you, and you're just going hard and you're grinding and you're grinding. So that was one thing, was like, okay, this doesn't feel like great, right? And then as I progressed, so that was before that was on my way to being at the top of my field. And then as I got there and I was getting there, it was, man, I had a really tough injury to my left leg, and it took away my ability to walk for several months. And at that time, I was living in Midtown Manhattan. I was making good money. At this time in my life, I didn't think I was going to make as much money as I was going to make. And at that point, it was okay. Here goes the single parent here. So,
hello.
Hi.
Can I tell my dad something really quick?
He's doing great.
Hold on 1 second. Yes, you can go. All right. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye. Yeah, so she asked
That's
me if she
a
could
good
do
moment to negotiate, like asking things when you're doing an interview, like, yes.
It's like, you know, this is it. This is where we're at right now.
Yes.
And that's one of those things, even with parenting and knowing what we know, it's man, also trying to do what you're doing, but not repel them in terms of, hey, get out of here, or you know what I mean, and still really affirming them and what they're doing, which can be tough, because it's like, oh man, I'm in the middle of something, and this might be a project or this might be a report, and it's like, oh my goodness, I get that, right?
But that's part of life, and she's such a beautiful one.
It is, and what they really want, they just want your attention. They just really yearn for your attention, and once we get into that, you're like, okay, I get it. Okay, you think I'm awesome, or maybe you don't, because they tell you some wild things sometimes.
Yeah, and that was kind of beautiful. I think it just brought more light, because she has a light in her, and she said hi to everyone in the world. So
yeah, so it's, you take it, and it's all love. You just understand that it's all love. They don't have any animosity or yet when they come to you. But going back into that journey, when I had that injury and it sidelined me, and I realized that, you know, I had these ideas being from the industry and seeing that there was a need to go deeper with individuals. And then this injury hit, and I realized that I was in this like rat race, right? Because I had this idea, but I wasn't going to act on it because things were too good right now. You know, it was just like too good right now.
Just go a little bit more.
I'm like, I'm gonna stay here, you know, I'll get to those things later. And life just happens. And she's like, oh, no, you're not. You're gonna get to it.
Really literally stopped you.
We're gonna get to it right now. Exactly.
Here to do some other things.
Yes. And one of the things I truly believe is that we can learn from awakening and we can learn from suffering. And the philosophy of Satori or Kensho. And it's one of those things where it slowed me down, and it had to slow me down because it was a complete patellar rupture, which like my kneecap was in my thigh, right? I was like, there was no movement on my lower leg. Sorry for the grossness, but I wanted you to really get that image. And I literally could not walk for several months. So it halted me. It wasn't like there's a bad sprain or there's an ACL injury where you're going to be walking in a couple of weeks and you're going to get back into it. It was like, no, you're going to sit your ass down and we're going to figure this thing out. And right there, it was fast forward to later on that year when, you know, my body was my means of making money, and me and baby girl's mother were in great terms. My family relationships, my romantic relationships, all these things, finance were just coming down on me at the same time. And I like to say that, you know, I know that this life thing is a school, and I like to joke around and saying I just didn't apply for this many credits this year. I didn't apply for this many credits this year. What's going on? But it gave me that dark night of the soul where there was a night where, you know, I was just thinking to myself, and I was like, you know, what am I going to do? You know, it was really tugging in my identity as a supporter, as a man, and all these things. And that's when I really empathized with people that took their own lives, right? With people that committed suicide. Before I used to think they're selfish. How can they do this? You know, yada, yada, yada. At that point, it was, man, I get it. I get that you keep struggling. Nothing seems to be working. And it just seems the other side is peace.
Yeah.
You get peace for, you know, exiting. There's a certain peace to that. And that came the power of intention. That's when I really discovered the power of intention and brought it all together. The mind, body, nutrition, intention. And that's when it started really honing in terms of what makes people successful, what really makes this life fulfilling.
I love that journey, and thank you for sharing this. Going through that very painful moments physically and also emotionally, mentally, spiritually, like the dark night of the soul, and then finding those key things, finding the spark of light and choosing to do something, start putting those pieces together, and the calling that you have now to help others, to help them to have a better life for themselves. In your opinion, why do so many parent entrepreneurs struggle with exhaustion?
Oh man, that's that's a good question. Kind of an easy one as well. I mean, we know children really require a lot of attention, you know, and another thing is guilt as well, right? Where if I step away and I just say I need a moment, you know, I need to take some breathing or I need to do some movement, I feel like the guilt of I'm not a good parent, right? I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. When we dissect that, and also for entrepreneurs in general, right? Where it's like we put everybody, all these things, all these to-do lists and all these projects first. And we forget that we are the thing that nourishes everything in our life. Everything that we care for, everything that we love, we are the nourishing piece to that. So if I want to become a better parent, if I want to become a more emotionally engaged and present individual for my business and my family, it means I need to be able to take hold and take stock of my thoughts and my emotions, right? And that in itself is such a huge energy component. I like to say that it's not so much that you have an energy problem, you most likely have an energy distribution problem, where you're giving yourself to so many different things. It's like, hey, let's see what is truly valuable to you, what is truly important to you. Draw a line in the sand, and hint, put yourself number one on that list, and go after it, and rearrange your day as best as you can. Because what happens is, yes, if you have kids, you're not going to have like an hour in the morning to just do what you do. But a lot of times, say like meditation, people think that they have to quiet their mind. People think they have to do meditation for a half an hour or X amount. They put all these parameters and structure around meditation, when the true essence of it is really to create time for yourself, right? Create time for yourself. Be still. Don't try to still your mind. Your mind is made to think, to process things, right? It's like trying to ask your heart to stop beating. It's what it's made to do. So I was speaking on this with someone a couple of months ago. It's like, don't think about this grand meditation where your mind is blank and you're just like, oh, lifting up. It's hey, it's about, hey, if you have 30 seconds, take 30 seconds and breathe. Yeah. Right? Take that time for yourself. And what happens is that we forget that, yes, kids have this yearning for that attention. And yes, we need to give them that attention. But we also forget that we mold the environment around them, right? We have the power to mold the environment around them. So my schedule has to change when I'm with baby girl, and she knows that, as we take breaths in the morning, right? Because it's not about teaching them. It's really, they just catch what you see. Yeah. I'm sorry. They catch what you do, right? So they're not good listeners. They're great imitators of, right? And then to step into their world and mold their world with your world, in terms of, like, we do jumping on the bed in the morning, right? She jumps on the bed, I jump on the floor, but that's really good for the lymphatic system in terms of getting movement and getting waste moved around in your body, right? So getting that jumping and starting your day off that way, your kid is good, you're good, everybody wins, right? And it literally takes like 20 seconds. And if you don't have 20 seconds in your day, then you don't have a life, right? You are a machine that's doing things, and someone has programmed you to do things for them. But 20 seconds in terms of either breathing or jumping, and those are not the only two things you can do. But again, it's the essence of taking that time for yourself, whether you're an entrepreneur that's always been taking care of other people all your life, or a parent entrepreneur, co-parenting entrepreneur, where, hey, that guilt is deep. It's so much more powerful. Like, oh man, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. But when you take care of yourself, you can show up so much more powerfully. And that's one thing a lot of people talk to me about, in terms of they wish they were more present, they wish they were more focused. And how we've been going around things, how has that been working for you? Putting everything first, how has that been working for you? We have an internal compass that when we learn to read it, when we learn the language of our body, beautiful things begin to happen. You start to live with more energy. You start to live more energized. You start to see more, be more focused. And there's it goes throughout with the spirit, your thinking, your emotional component, and these are the four principles, right? And the body, your physical body. This is the movement and nutrition.
I love that. And what you shared as well there was very important about the guilt, because if we are not with our family, we might feel guilty. And then if we are not doing the business, then we will guilt. So it's kind of like no win situation.
Right.
So
Yes.
it's like the guilt is there. So how are you then making those choices and like taking those moments, being really present? Like you said, it can be 20 minutes, 20 seconds, even like just having the connection
Yeah.
and allowing yourself to be fully present wherever you are, whether you're focusing on your family, whether you're focusing on your business. But if we are always then feeling a guilt that I'm not doing that other thing, it's kind of eating also the energy, I believe, like kind of you're never there fully because part of you is carrying this guilt that you are not doing the other things. So.
Yeah. It's so real. And I'll say the root I see with a lot of individuals is not getting clear on their priorities and what's truly important for them. So if I look at my business and I say, this is the thing that I need to work on. And when I'm here, I'm going to work on this, right? Whether it's completed or I did as much as I can do, I'm good. I can leave that and go into my family or whatever it is, or watch a movie, right? Or just go take a poop on the toilet without thinking about like what am I doing wrong, right? But if I set the priority, I really make a dent in that, then I move on. I can be present with my family. And then when I'm present with my family, I know, hey, what? No, that's not a text, baby girl. It's all right. You can take that.
Okay.
And then there goes again.
No.
And then when I'm present with my family, it's like, okay, who am I? How do I want to show up? And when I show up that way, right, now when I go back to business, I'm not thinking, oh man, I should have done this. I shouldn't have yelled at her that way. And I should have, I really should have listened to my partner more, or, all these shoulds. When we come with that intention and that powerful intention aspect of things, when I come to my business with that intention, and then when I slide over to my family with that intention, I'm like, hey, maybe I didn't get everything done, but I did what I needed to do at that time. I was focused and I could leave that. And it's really, instead of balancing, I like to say harmonizing, right? It's this sync, because it's never going to be equal parts, right? It's not, okay, I got to balance here, then I do 3 parts here, 1 part here, and that's exhausting.
Yeah, right? And I think that's where people get trapped because they want to find the perfect balance. Maybe it doesn't look like that. So it's finding what works for you. Yes. Finding the things that, how does your life look like? How, like you said, setting those priorities that work for you, not how others have done around you, but finding your own way in there too. So now if somebody's there, like listening this and like, oh, wow, yes, I kind of hear, I'm doing that. I'm carrying the guilt, first of all, trying to juggle between the family and my business, and I am feeling exhausted on some level, like knowing that, okay, I need to take better care of me. So where could they start? Of course, contacting you, first thing, like easiest one. But if they want to start making that change, where could they start? Like you had your own journey of putting those pieces together. So what could be a first step if you would be willing to share where people could start?
Sure. So a first step is always going to be where your thoughts and emotions lie, right? Because that's really going to be the running. It's going to take most part of your life. I know we talk about nutrition and movement, but you have upwards of like 80,000 thoughts a day, right? And understanding that everything is happening by design. And I don't mean that as like, hey, everything's happening by design, it's okay. I mean, your thought process and how your brain works and the neuroscience behind it is that you've been caught up in this loop, right? Maybe having anxiety and caught up in this loop, chronic anxiety. And your brain can only kind of make records of the past and replay it. So a big part of it is, hey, I'm in this loop. I want to get out. And there's a big thing. I went through this like the other day. I was like, oh, it's one of those days. I'm having it, you know? So we have this loop and we want to get out, but you haven't given your brain a destination. You haven't given your brain a destination. So when you say, I want to get out of this loop, there's nowhere for it to go. It's like, well, yeah, where am I going to go? So back to this loop, I'm going to fall.
We go to the loop.
Right. And going back to that loop. So getting just clear on where you want to go. Right. That clear aspect of where you want to go is going to be huge, because our thoughts are not intangible. Our thoughts are electrical impulses, right? They shoot. So as you make a vision for yourself, you start to disrupt that pattern. And this is what we call like new neural connections, neuroplasticity. You literally start to restructure your brain, right? On a structural level. Now, this is not the airy fairy woo-woo kind of thing. This is the science of how your brain is working. So when you get clear on that, it's going to give it somewhere to go. Now, the second part of that is, I mean, we can just talk about an hour on that, but the second part of that is your emotional state, right? Because we have these thoughts, and what gives those thoughts real power is the emotional signature you give to that thought, right? So if I'm here and I'm anxious, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to be talking to Katja today, and what if I fumble with his words? What if baby girl comes in and, it's like, oh my God, it's gonna like, so I'm sitting on my couch thinking about something in the future that's happening in the now for me. So that's like, we need to understand how powerful that is and how beautiful that is. I am really looking at a future event.
Somebody called you.
It's all right. She wants the camera. Say hello to everybody.
Hi.
All right. Give kisses to everybody, because everybody's watching. It's like the world right now. This is the world. You were talking about how you want the world. Right?
They'll see ya.
Okay.
Somebody just called you.
That's fine. I'll come out when I come out. You can tell me, okay? All right. Thank you, baby girl.
I don't know who it was because it said phone number.
It's all right. Me and you both don't know who it is. Close the door. So like that. Like, oh my goodness, right? It's gonna fail. This is all gonna fail. And so when we have that emotional signature to it, we give it power, because we're there in the seat, and we're experiencing something that hasn't happened, but that experience has the emotional signature to it. Now, basically oversimplifying it, anxiety is a misuse of your imagination, because that's what you're using. You're just using your imagination. So I like to get to the root of things, right? There's all these explanations about what anxiety is. Like when you're in that chronic anxiety, it's you using your imagination. Now let's dial it to the other side, and now let's use it for that clear vision. So one of the big things that people say is like, hey, I'm feeling a lot better, but I'm still having these negative thoughts. And that's a big misconception, where people think there's something wrong with them. And I just want people to believe, like, I just know you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. It's a part of the process. If you're still having negative thoughts, but you're feeling better, right? You're going into neutral. Yeah. This is you observing those thoughts now. This is basically what meditation is. This is you observing those thoughts. Exactly. And you created space, because you're no longer giving it the power of those emotional signatures. So now when you create space, you allow, by definition, something else to come in. But if you're still having those negative thoughts, but you're feeling better, and you're taking this approach and you're feeling better because you're not giving it the power of those emotions, then you're on your way to take that step to the next level, to understand that your thoughts and your emotions, how they work. And there's two states of emotions, right? There's the empowering state of emotions, or your disempowering state. And a lot of people shun, like, when we feel good, and we're not feeling at our best. We're like, I shouldn't be feeling like this, right? I shouldn't be feeling angry. I shouldn't be doing this. And when we do that, what happens is that we're automatically repelling ourselves because you're feeling this. You're actually shunning yourself and repelling yourself. So I want people to understand that these two states are a very powerful compass, where when you're feeling good, joy, love, oneness, curiosity, solidarity, you're in alignment with some of those priority and the higher self that you are. When you're not, it's just telling you, hey, you're going off course. If you're trying to drive somewhere and you need to be going east and you go west and there's a sign that says, hey, you're going west. That's all that negative emotion is. It's a sign.
Yeah.
Because like, thank God there was a sign here, because I'm going to keep going so much further. And what happens is that we ignore that because we shun it and we keep driving. And instead of being 10 miles away from our destination, we wake up one day and we're in another continent, right? Because we took a boat across the ocean. We took an airplane halfway across the world before we realized, oh, I was supposed to be over there.
And we didn't stop to ask directions.
Yes. And this is one aspect of understanding everything that's happening within you is supposed to happen. It's just really getting the language of your body and understanding that. And once you get to master more of that, you're going to start living in more alignment. And those programs that you go into, the nutrition programs that you go into, the weight training programs, the exercise programs, you'll stay in those because now you're in alignment with the other pillars, right? Those things are important, but those things are the fourth pillar. They're the fourth element that we're going to with that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And I love the idea, like, what direction are you driving? And like, have a look. Are you going towards direction you want? And you are the driver. So you can choose to change the direction. If you notice you are going again on the lane that leads to more negative thoughts, because sometimes we are aware, and this is a place where you can always observe what are you thinking, like take a moment to stop and like, what am I thinking here? Because we have the power to choose our thoughts, even though sometimes we might feel that we don't, they are just there. we do have the power to choose. And now, because you have, I love to continue like this conversation. You have so much wisdom and you have so much experience in this field. But now, if somebody would love to hear more about your work and you connect with you, what is the best place where they can reach out?
Oh, you can send me a message on Facebook. I'm under Juan Miolan, my name, and come join the Facebook group. It's called Unstoppable Entrepreneurs. I just did a week of sleep tips, right? No Band-Aid strategies. This is based on like your psychology, your biology. And this is why I talk about the blueprint, right? You can always go back to it. It's not going to be like, oh, this is not working anymore. It's based on you as a complete human being. So come over there. I'm sharing a ton of free stuff just so you can take in and really step your level, your energy, your presence to the next level. So yeah, just send me a message and we can rock out. We can talk just like that. Don't be afraid. I'm not going to bite. And we can go from there.
Beautiful, thank you. And I will put all those links to the comments below, so it's easy to find them and just click and join the group. I'm there too. So it's wonderful to hear your wisdom there and get this inspiration. And now, as we are wrapping up this one, do you have a special message that you would like to share?
Oh man, it's tough to choose, man. There's so much going through my mind. Right? One of the things I like to share is you are the most powerful piece of your world. Again, you are the root system that nourishes everything that you care for. And live through your heart. Live through your heart. I like to live by a mantra that goes, the brain knows no answers. The heart knows no questions. And that goes along with saying that you already know what you want to do, whether you know it consciously or not. right? Your heart already knows this. There's a reason why you feel something in the center of your being, right? When you see something or something touches you, you're like, oh, it touched my head, right? You go into like here, and this center knows, right? And this is about seeking what this knows. So when you get quiet a little bit and start to really tap into your heart, I know it's like, oh, don't listen to your emotions and think. When you really get in tune to that, beautiful things start to happen. You start having this energy, and it's very easy to make decisions because you realize that things don't align with your heart. So live through your heart and use the intellect of your brain to get you where your heart commands.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being here today, Juan, and sharing your work and wisdom. I just love learning from you.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast. So baby girl, Zane is her name. I used to call her baby girl. But like, I thought her name was baby girl. No, her name is Zane. Made a cameo with it as well. Thank you for having us. And always, I'll be more than happy to have these discussions, especially with someone with the likes of yourself. And I'm pleased to be here. It's an honor. Thank you.
And thank you for watching Path to Purpose interview show. If you want support on your path, join Lightworkers Who Succeed on Purpose Facebook community. And I'm sending you so much light and love. Stay well and stay tuned for the next episode by subscribing to this channel. Bye for now.